Digestion begins in the mouth. When chewing, mechanical digestion occurs as the teeth increase the surface area of the food. The presence of food in the oral cavity triggers the salivary glands to release saliva. Saliva begins the process of chemical digestion. Saliva contains salivary amylase, which hydrolyzes starch and glycogen and produces smaller polysaccharides or maltose. It also contains mucus-containing mucin, which protects the lining of the mouth. The tongue helps shape the food into a small ball called the bolus, and the bolus is pushed down the oral cavity and into the pharynx. The pharynx opens to both the esophagus and the trachea, and the esophageal sphincter is relaxed. It allows the esophagus to open so the bolus may enter. The epiglottis blocks the entrance to the trachea so the food does not go down. The peristalsis or waves of muscular contraction move the food down the esophagus and into the stomach. Begins the digestion of proteins. The stomach secretes gastric juice from the gastric glands and mixes it with food particles, creating a mixture of food and gastric juice called chyme. Chemical digestion is carried out by hydrochloric acid and pepsin. The low pH of hydrochloric acid, which is released by the parietal cells, denatures proteins and increases the exposure to the protein's peptide bonds, and it is in the lumen. And since peptide can destroy the stomach walls, it is stored in an inactive form called pepsinogen, which is a zymogen, and it is secreted by the chief cells. Hydrochloric acid converts pepsinogen to pepsin by activating pepsinogen and removing parts of the molecule and exposing it to an active site. Pepsin breaks polypeptides into smaller peptides. Mucus lining of the stomach protects it from hydrochloric acid, and pepsin is secreted by mucus cells in the stomach gland. The sphincters at both ends of the stomach are closed during the digestion, opening only when a bolus is to enter or exit. The pyloric sphincter regulates the entrance of chyme into the small intestine. The most digestion and absorption occur in the small intestine. The first 25 centimeters of the small intestine are called the duodenum. Hormones called enterogastrogens are secreted by the duodenum wall. Secreted signals the pancreas to release sodium bicarbonate, which restores the pH to higher levels when chyme is present, and the pancreas produces pancreatic amylase, which breaks into small polysaccharides into disaccharides. The liver produces bile, which is stored in the gallbladder until it's ready to be used, and chyloscolkinin causes the gallbladder to contract and release bile into the small intestine. Bile contains bile salts, which aid in the digestion and absorption of fat. Pancreatic nucleases break the DNA and RNA into nucleotides, and pancreatic trypsin and chemotrypsin break small polypeptides into smaller ones. The enzyme maltase splits disaccharides into monosaccharides, and when the surface area of fats are exposed to lipase, the hydrolysis of fat into fatty acids and glycerol begins. Dipeptidases split small peptides into amino acids, and carboxypeptidase and aminopeptidase work in opposite directions, splitting small peptides into amino acids. The remaining regions of the small intestine, the jejunum and the ileum, absorb nutrients and water. The large intestine or the colon connects to the small intestine at a T-shaped junction, and at one end of the T-shaped junction is the cecum with a small line called the appendix. The colon reabsorbs the water that enters the alimentary canal, and at the end of the colon is the rectum and then the anus, where the food exits the body.